All right, Pranav, thanks a lot for joining right on time, and thank you everybody else who has joined right on time, guys. My name is Prateek Agrawal. I am one of the co-founders of Time2Justice.ai, a legal AI-based legal advisor for everybody, including lawyers and judges and common people. So we have a very interesting topic today: AI in corporate law, and we also have a very interesting and distinguished speaker with us, a keynote speaker and expert in corporate law, Mr. Pranav Srivastava. So, Pranav, thanks a lot for taking the invite and joining right on time. Thank you, Pranav.
Thanks, Prateek. Thanks. Look
I
forward to.
will I will quickly set the agenda. Then I will also introduce Pranav's background so that then we can have a very healthy discussion about this interesting topic. So Pranav has spent more than a decade in the corporate law sector, and he is with a firm called as Phoenix Legal, and he is a recognized leader there. He spent more than a decade in that firm. He is also serving as a co-vice chair of the Young Lawyers Committee at the International Bar Association. He is recognized as a business world, legal world's top 40 under 40 lawyers. Pranav, very, very nice. And he, in this particular firm, he started as a trainee and now he's an equity partner. So, Pranav, congratulations. In such a young age, you've done quite a bit, Pranav.
Thank you.
So, and guys, the topic, why I love the topic that we have today, which is AI in corporate law, because you see, India is going through a rapid change. We have a lot of international firms which are coming in India, setting up offices, ranging from, we have seen Apple setting up their massive production factory here. Tesla is thinking of coming over here, and a lot of startups India has seen in the last decade or so. So all these rapid industrial expansion that India is going through, India needs faster, quicker assistance in corporate law, corporate governance, and that's where I believe, AI as well as platforms like ours, Time2Justice.ai, can make a significant impact. And that is the topic here today, Pranav. And I wanted to understand, Pranav, your views on the topic, and if you have had an opportunity to use any of these AI tools, including Time2Justice, in the world of corporate law, Pranav.
Thanks for that, Prateek. Yes, of course. I mean, I think all of us have, if not other tools, used at least ChatGPT,
Absolutely.
uh, and have also had opportunity to, test various other uh, AI tech legal platforms. There is a lot of internationally there is a talk about a platform called Harvey AI, which Allen and Overy, which is one of the largest firms in the world, have kind of implemented as part of their legal service proposition. But I think, Prateek, what you are proposing here is more. Of course, you will be a service provider to lawyers and law firms like us, but you will also be a service provider to retail consumers of legal services, which could be individuals who may have small legal issues to big legal issues, as well as corporates. Uh, it's not only the startups and the foreign entities which are coming into India. There is also an increased requirement for legal services by traditional Indian businesses as well, who
Okay.
used to earlier rely a lot on their chartered accountants giving them off the cuff advice, or just telling them what's the right thing to do, or giving them some sense on what they may have experienced in the past, and which is very different from often they have ended up in problems. Often they have ended up in difficult situations because they have taken off the cuff advice from these chartered accountants, and which may not be legally accurate, and therefore they are also now moving away from that uh, old style of seeking off the cuff advice to more formal legal advice. And where I think they end up struggling is the cost of lawyers, because law firms and lawyers, as you know, at least the good quality ones in India, are uh, fairly expensive for traditional Indian businesses who are not familiar with paying fees to lawyers, and for lot of run-of-the-mill questions, issues that they grapple with on a day-to-day basis, they do not want to incur significant fees. And in fact, we also tell them often that, look, come to us if there is something complicated enough, come to us if there is something serious enough for you to be willing to pay our fees. And if it's something that is, not of a nature that where we will be able to add a lot of value, because a lot of the legal questions are run of the mill. If you read the legislation, if you read the relevant case laws, you will very easily find answers to many of the legal questions. And therefore, you could reach out to. I mean, until now, we tell them that you could reach out to other lawyers, maybe smaller firms, or you could reach out to cheaper alternatives. But I think the great alternative could be AI, particularly for clients like those who are looking at an advice on simpler issues, where complex questions of law are involved, where greater amount of analysis beyond just reading what is written in the law and advising is concerned. Doing, I think, that next level of thinking, practical application of law. I think in those areas, clients may still have to rely on lawyers and law firms like us, but on a lot of other things, even those clients, Indian big businesses also, who have traditionally not been availing legal services, may be able to rely on services like yours. And similarly, as you said, startups and the foreign investors coming into India, and we are a heavily under lawyered country. So the percentage of lawyer per 100 people in India is perhaps the lowest amongst most developed and developing nations. We are a very, very under-lawyered country, and we also know that in our country, if there are 100 lawyers, of those 100 lawyers, maybe two or three are lawyers who are in real sense practicing. I mean, many of them may not even be practicing lawyers. Many of them may be doing miscellaneous or other work at different courts and tribunals, like notarization and document preparation or affidavit certification, etc. So they may not be in real sense in legal practice. So we are a heavily under-lawyered country. And that's where I think AI and tech can fill in and kind of help various businesses in India. So that's my high-level thought on the topic. I think it's a interesting topic. It's a topic that scares us as well as shows us, evokes our interest at the same time. Scares us because we always think that whether it's going to take away our jobs, but evokes our interest because it'll be interesting to see how legal world evolves and how where we find our space after a lot of it is taken by AI.
Absolutely. Pranav, very good points. I've noted down some of the words that you mentioned. Under lawyered. We are actually traditionally a very under lawyered country, and that's one of the use cases that one of the facts that why we got into this as well. Because as an individual, I'm a computer engineer. I've been a startup founded quite a few companies, and I've realized that when the legal matters are there, it becomes very confusing for even for people like us. We have lawyers who will charge 1,000 rupees an hour to lawyers who will charge whatever insane amount an hour, and we get confused. The same lawyer, same case can be dealt by different complexities level, and it becomes very difficult to just search on Google. And that's when we thought of that in India, and especially in India as well as many such countries where the case laws are referred always in judgments, and it is not easy for a common person to understand the law itself and forget about the case laws. So that's what we have done in Time2Justice.ai, that we have actually taken a lot of case laws related to almost all the popular segments of legal matters in India. And we have fine-tuned, we have trained the model to consider those case laws and to give references of those case laws in any advice that we end up giving. I mean, any advice the platform ends up giving. And that is where, I believe that as an individual who doesn't come with a legal or law understanding as much as a lawyer would, it gives me that first filter that okay, these are the points that I could consider, these are the quick things that I could probably consider. And then with those points, if I go to a seasoned lawyer like you or seasoned law firm like you guys, then I can have an intelligent discussion with you instead of wasting a lot of your time and also increasing my cost for that matter. We have
Absolutely.
also, we have also seen, Pranav, that a new startup, for example, right? A company which is, or a startup or a foreign investor who's thinking of setting up a shop in India, thinking of setting up a company in India. They think, I know we are, we're talking about ease of doing business and everything. Of course, we have improved quite a bit in the last decade or so, but they think that it is too complicated, and who can advise us quickly, right? I mean, and again, there is a matter of trust, so before they can reach out to the law firms like yours, I mean, our platform can actually easily guide them on the initial stage. I also noted down one more word that you mentioned, that should a lawyer be scared of a AI platform like Time2Justice.ai? What we have noticed is actually contrary. What we are noticing, Pranav, is that large firms had the ability to hire a lot of paralegals or legal researchers with them, right? They had the wherewithals of having them on board. The small, medium-sized legal firms, or maybe one person law firm, let's say, or a two people law firm, we have realized that those guys are actually using our platform more than a very, very large firm. That's what
Right.
initially we thought, the large ones would be more savvy enough to use our platform. But we
Yeah.
are now noticing that, the smaller firms and one person, two people, three people law firms are utilizing our services more often than
Yeah.
the larger ones. And
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, Pranav, we're still brainstorming why that is happening. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts onto that, Pranav?
So Prateek, I think you guys have made your platform available and possibly at a price point which is affordable by the smaller players also, individual lawyers, the smaller law firms also, which is great because the biggest fear is that you will have behemoths like Harvey AI, and I'm taking that name again because probably it's
Sure.
the most famous
Absolutely.
in the
Absolutely.
in the law firm this thing. So they have signed a contract with Allen and Overy recently, exclusive contract with PwC to the exclusion of all the other big fours
Right.
to exclusively develop their platform. Now, the millions of dollars that would have been put in by Allen and Overy to set this platform up, and the millions of dollars that would have been paid by PwC may not be something that other firms or the smaller players can pay. And therefore, while on one hand platforms like yours will encourage younger lawyers, individual lawyers to also spin off and set up new firms or also set up their own practices. uh, the fear is that if these big platforms which are funded with millions and millions of dollars make those very large firms way more efficient than these smaller firms, then these smaller firms may start going out of business. And Allen and Overy currently has 3,500 lawyers. If with Harvey AI platform, if they were to let go of all their other lawyers because they are able to do a lot of their jobs without having to incur that cost, only a handful of partners in the firm are able to provide the same legal services that Allen and Overy is currently providing, then we may be looking at a situation where one, the large percentage of people of those platform have been let go of, and then other firms are finding it difficult to compete with them because they have the capital, the ability to engage a platform like Harvey AI. And then that's the fear that I think, it could work both ways. It could also be that that will encourage many players like you who would want to compete with Harvey AI and set up many, many, many more platforms, which will automatically breed competition. And therefore, even the smaller players or relatively smaller players will be able to afford it and will generally lead to a much more wider access availability to smaller players. But it could go either way. So that's one fear. I mean, how difficult is the AI technology of let's say the best platform versus the how easy it is to replicate the best platform. Also, the other thing is that the your AI platform is only as good as the underlying database. Now, some of these largest firms in the world will have the largest database. And if they are able to feed in the best database into their AI platforms,
Database of cases, databases of what?
documents, database of past precedents of the work that they have done. See, cases database is available in the public domain.
True.
But there will also be a lot of database of contract precedents, for example. There will be a database of the research notes that have been done by the firm in the past. There will be databases of other market intelligence that they may have received from regulators by speaking to, let's say, the Reserve Bank of India, or to speaking to the SEBI, any inputs that they may have received and they may have kept as notes in their organization. So all of that can also be fed into the AI platforms that they are setting up, and therefore potentially what could happen is that if they have the best databases, they may have the best AI platform, and that may cause some problems for I think the smaller players.
Yeah. So it's a very good point, Pranav, that you mentioned that, that a larger firm can actually use their own research notes, their own databases to train the model even better. One of the things, and that is a fair fear, if I may use that word, because one of the features that we are now introducing, will be probably introducing next month, is the ability to. Right now, it is trained by the model is trained by what we trained it upon, but now the next feature that we are uploading is that you can just point the platform to any document library, a digital document library. It could be any PDF file, Word file, any Excel file. You link that folder, let's say, imagine a Google folder link to our platform, and it can read that, and it can give advices based on what it finds in those documents which are there in a particular folder. So that's is the document handling capability that we are adding to it. And that's where I think your fear makes actually sense. We did not think of that as a use case, but that could be a use case. But the other thing that I'm also thinking is that, look at the smaller law firms, right? Smaller law firms struggle to get the research data as quickly as maybe the larger law firms could get. With our platform, we are observing that the smaller law firms are also able to reduce their research time significantly. So
Yeah.
one of the things that we have actually seen, that time to research has significantly gone down with our platform, Pranav. Pranav, I wanted to ask you that if you had an opportunity to try Time to Justice at all.
I have visited the website, Prateek, but honestly, I've not really used the platform. I just visited the website, saw the features,
Let
read.
me
Yeah.
what I did was that, probably for everybody's comfort as well, I, based on our limited understanding, we said what are the major use cases where people are actually utilizing our platform in the corporate law segment. So we saw that company incorporation, during the company incorporation side, and we put out some of the important pointers here. I mean, people are using it for different things as well. Company incorporation. Then we saw corporate governance, merger and acquisition, general contracts, and the provisions of the contracts. So we saw that these are the 10 things that are what people are using our platform more for. So one of the things was that, for example, what are the key clauses to include in a shareholder agreement for a private corporation in India? So, and since our platform is designed to behave like an Indian lawyer, fine Indian lawyer, we have trained it with some of the precedences and some of the arguments made by some of the best lawyers in India using the Indian case laws as well. So suppose, Time2Justice.ai, you don't even have to create an account to utilize that. I, of course, have created an account, and anybody can actually, without even login, can utilize that. And there are two main features: seek a legal query and draft a document. And the third feature that we are adding from next month is to handle documents, whereby you can just upload any legal document or any notice, and it can create replies as well. But for seek a legal query, suppose if I just paste that prompt, trace that question that I had. So what it does is, it very nicely, it tells you that, okay, like a good lawyer, it does not give the answer right away. It says if there are any information that is missing that a good lawyer would also seek, then it says, all right, give us those number of shareholders, the nature of the business, and any specific issues. And once you do that, then it will actually end up giving the giving the advice. So for example, these are the clauses that you can cover. And if I were to ask it, please add, please elaborate on each clause, as each clause, and it will actually elaborate on each clause very nicely. And one of the features that we have added, because we have spoken to a lot of lawyers, we noticed that lawyers like Word documents. I'm so sorry, there is some kind of a error that came. Just a moment. Same thing. So what it does is that it adds the yes. Ashish's question is this aware of Indian laws? Example IPC section clauses. Yes, that's exactly how we have trained it, Ashish. So it is accurate up to more than 90%. Ashish, we are still testing it, but it is accurate up to 90% or more, specifically for Indian laws. Now, if you notice here, Pranav, that it gives the provisions, and the best thing is that we have added one small feature that you can take all these provisions or all the generated text here into a Word document.
Yeah.
And then, because, you guys like Word document is what we realize,
Yeah.
right? And then in that Word document, you can make any changes as, you would normally make in any other Word document. In the next feature that we're launching from next month, which is part of document handling capability, is that you can actually compare two versions of the same legal document as well, and it can give you the comparison like a good lawyer would actually do.
So when you that I read on your website also, Prateek, and my question there is that would that be comparison in the sense you would describe the changes, or it's a because word compare, of course, even a Microsoft Word can do, but I assume it will be a description of the changes that
Absolutely. Not the
okay.
version changes. It is not about the version changes. Version changes have been there. That problem statement has been solved for ages.
Yeah.
But imagine that I am I am doing a joint development agreement with some other, developer. I have a land, there is a developer who's willing to take my land. Now, the developer sends me one MOU. I show it to my lawyer.
Yeah.
Then I send some changes to that MOU to the developer. The developer again gives me some MOU with some other clauses change. And this is a live thing that happened. One of our clients actually did so. So when they received the document, when they received the MOU, they were, words and changes were not so important, but the changes were there in the clauses. And those clause related changes, it gave a very nice, like a good lawyer, right? Considering Indian laws and case laws and whatnot, it gave the implications of those changes. That is where we have fine-tuned the model, not just to show the words and changes.
Yeah. No, that is great. I think that if something like that can dramatically reduce the time for lawyers to also advise their clients. Because when we are doing deals and transactions, and the next version comes and the next version comes,
Absolutely.
one of our job is really to summarize the changes and tell the client that look, this is what has happened to the document, and we need to discuss the next step. So I think that will
That it
reduce.
does. It summarizes and gives the changes and gives the implication of the changes as well.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly. I think that's
we
exactly what we do. Yeah.
we always put a disclaimer that it should ideally be vetted by somebody who understands the law very well. Because
Hmm.
again, we understand that we are relying on AI as a technology. It is
Yeah.
accurate, but it is not 100% accurate like a good Indian lawyer could be. So we
Right.
always put a disclaimer, and that's where we say that we have this feature which we call it as a recommended lawyer. So we are
Yeah.
onboarding lawyers onto our platform. We are
Right.
vetting them as well. We are categorizing those lawyers as per the speciality that they bring into the table. For example, expertise that they bring into the table, and based on the question asked or the document created, if somebody clicks on the recommended lawyer, it will recommend the actual vetted lawyer for that particular segment.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll have maybe one suggestion, Prateek. I
Sure,
think in your
please.
platform, maybe you may want to have two separate versions for lawyers who would be your consumers, and for retail, users. For
Okay.
them, I think this recommended lawyer, and you may need to get a little more technical when you are doing this for lawyers. Maybe the
Yeah.
level of detail may need to be a little more technical. So if a general a retail individual person asks you a query about, okay, what is can I drive a car registered in Gurgaon in Noida? You may be able to give a very simple answer, but a lawyer, when he is asking that question to you, he may be looking for references to different legislations, what case laws you've referred, etc. Because that will be the input that the lawyer will use for advising his client, and not just, I think, the high level answer. Whereas a high level answer will work for the retail consumer. So you may want to have two separate interfaces for your retail consumers and for your industry consumers, which is lawyers.
Very good suggestion. Actually, we are thinking in that direction as well. There are some non-premium features we are actually giving for free
Right.
to almost anybody. For example, seeking a legal query, even drafting a basic document is actually non-premium feature for now,
Right.
right? So we are giving almost this is almost, I mean, for the entire month also, it's less than anything. I mean, it's less than 2,000 rupees that we are giving these two features completely
Sure.
now. But the document handling feature, which is a premium feature, and similarly in that we are adding a couple of extra features specifically, which could be very very interesting for the lawyers. But I really appreciate your suggestion, because that way we can also create some specific tools for the lawyers as well, which could
Exactly.
be handy for the lawyers that we can do. One of the things, so the two features that are live right now, one is of course the legal query, and you can ask any, these are the queries that we have seen that people are very frequently using our platform for: corporate governance, drafting a lot of governance policy document, compliance checklist. We have seen a lot of regulatory
Yeah.
lawyers are using, and for M&A also, that we have seen that partnership agreement, contract drafting is something that we are seeing a lot of lawyers using, a lot of users also using it for NDAs and MOUs and general terms and conditions for websites as well.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that we have seen. So we created one feature, draft a document itself, right here. So
Yeah.
MOU, let's say you're doing from date to date, and then from parties involved, jurisdiction, all the way to a specific town, signing authority. One more feature that we are adding now here is, if you want to add some general provisions,
Yeah.
specific general provisions, so it will actually create a very nice Word document that anybody can utilize this for.
Right.
Right? So these are some of the, and the way, I mean, the whole idea, Pranav, was that we, I mean, the idea is that time, justice comes, because India's justice system is, one of the best in the world. Justice comes here, but the time it takes, right, is what we want to reduce significantly, and the affordability factor that we want to bring. Not
Yeah.
everybody can afford a very polished law firm,
Yeah.
because the cost can be prohibitive, both the sides, right?
Yeah.
So, right. So in order to cater to those people, as well as the law firms as well, where they can utilize their time and doing better things, so we thought of bringing this platform, so that's how we named it as well, that we want to reduce the time to
Yeah.
justice. And we strongly believe that uh, the law firms, the end users, the corporates, the CAs, chartered accountants, the company secretaries, everybody who's involved into some regulatory or legal driven businesses
Yeah.
would always require efficiency, and that's what we're trying to do with our platform here, actually.
Yeah. No, that's great, Prateek. On the name though, I do think that justice gives an impression of resolution of dispute,
Yes,
compared to,
absolutely.
I think you are a legal advice platform more than a dispute resolution platform.
Why that name also came, Pranav, is earlier we thought we would actually make it as a online dispute resolution platform, which
Okay.
we read somewhere, or we saw somewhere, that the Indian law allowed it now. That
Yes.
for example, just one simple use case is that, let's say ICICI Bank has a lot of NPA customers or credit card customers who have not paid, defaulted them.
Yeah.
Now they outsource that collection process to, let's say, a third party, and third party does the resolution, right, and brings whatever money that they can bring,
Correct.
right? So we
Correct.
initially thought that we would do that, and maybe down the line, maybe we will add that online dispute resolution feature into the entire platform,
Yeah.
which we think can be also game changing. I mean, to at least that bit of justice, not of course the whole bit of the justice system, but that bit of the justice system. But Pranav, I see the time clock. We have run over by a couple of minutes. But Pranav, thanks a lot for joining and giving your 2 cents onto this entire topic of interest and giving a feedback onto the platform Time2Justice.ai. And I just want to take a couple of more minutes. If people have any questions, a lot of people have joined the session today. If people have any question, we'll be more than happy to take it for the next couple of minutes, guys. If anybody has any question, we'll be more than happy to take. Otherwise, guys, anybody who's attending the webinar today, we will give a coupon code with which you can create a free account on Time2Justice, as well as you can, if you are a lawyer, you can also register yourself as a lawyer, so that what happens is, for any legal query, we also recommend at the end of the answer, as you might have seen in my demonstration, that we recommend lawyers as well. There is no charge to register as a lawyer, and you get client leads, Pranav. That is a kind of ecosystem that we want to create, that the lawyers can also get the leads as well to the clients. Pranav, thanks a lot, Pranav, for joining today, and hopefully you will also utilize this platform in your firm.
I look forward to it, Prateek. Thank you so much for the session. It was really nice, and I think you're developing a great platform. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. One question has come, sorry, from Rimjim, sorry. So does the platform update itself based on the recent amendments, speaking particularly respect to corporate laws, their amendment modification? Very good question, Rimjim. And, Pranav, what we have done is almost every month or so, we update. That means we refresh that data. And now, once we have the document handling feature enabled, anybody can also do it.
Yeah.
They can also will be able to update the platform. Data protection in the AI arena, Shubhankar, is a very interesting. We have a lot of guardrails that we have created of responsible AI, and it only works on legal matters. So if you try and ask questions which are non-legal matters or non-compliance matters, it gives you an answer that it is a AI legal advisor platform, and won't answer anything else. At least that's what we are trying to build the guardrail. But again, it's technology; it can behave erratically at times. But we are testing it. We are improving it. And we have seen that the guardrails that we have put for responsible AI is working fine. Thank you, Pranav. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, we have gone over the time, but feel free to reach out, guys. My contact details are all available on the website of Time2Justice.ai, and I would really invite everybody to try it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Bye.